On the 28th of November, we finally have Daniel Dubois against Joyce. A fight between two prospects, which is not on pay-per-view. It's on BT Sport over here in the UK, which, okay, you do have to pay for BT Sport, but you're not going to have to pay additional, so that's not too bad. I thought Frank Warren, with the fact he only really has Tyson Fury in his roster, to my knowledge, that he was definitely going to put this one on pay-per-view, but hey, there we go. Maybe things are changing. And this is one of many good heavyweight fights to close out 2020. So let's get positive. Boxing really has picked up in the last quarter of the year. Now, even though this is a fight between two prospects, there's a big age gap. I think Daniel Dubois, he's no older than 23. And Joyce is my age at 34. Still fresh-faced, yeah, and he won't have many miles on the clock, but still, 34. This is a big difference in age. So regardless of who wins, surely Dubois anyway has got the bigger future ahead of him. It will be Dubois who is the favourite. He is the more collected boxer, and he does seem to have a good punch. If I just think of basic comparisons like him against Razvan Kajano, doing him in 2 rounds, Joseph Parker couldn't get rid of him. It went the distance. So there's certain things and certain knockouts we've seen that I think show Dubois, even though he hasn't really stepped up in competition yet that much, he seems to be more heavy-handed than your average heavyweight. You put that together with the fact that Joyce seems to love to defend punches with his face, and I think that is the basic perception with regards to feeling Dubois is going to win. Now, Joyce has fought more experienced competition. All right, all past their best, never that good to begin with. But with Bermane Stiverne, Alexander Ustinov, and Bryant Jennings on his resume, he's fought guys who at least could have maybe, in their dilapidated form, could have conjured something up and derailed him during these early stages. But no, he managed to beat them all. He probably learnt things from them. And if this fight gets difficult and his chin does hold up being the key point here, he can maybe turn the tide. If I think he keeps at high pace, if he doesn't get too involved early, he turns it into a bit of a scrap and starts these kind of ambush attacks on Dubois, takes him to a place he hasn't been, he can definitely win this because we don't know a lot about Dubois yet. We don't know how good his chin is, and he strikes me as the kind of guy with his heavy, bulky build that he might not do so well if they fight at a high pace. But despite all that, despite the fact that Joyce seems to have fought probably slightly better competition, I favour the heavy punches of Dubois, the more composed boxing, to begin with the jab, to line him up, and find some big punches against a guy who really does not move his head. Sometimes Joyce looks like the Walking Dead in there, and that might be his undoing in this one. I kind of see it like kind of 65-35 in Dubois' favour. But it's that kind of early fight where sometimes you fight reckless to want to impress, that it could be very entertaining. And again, really good that it's not on pay-per-view. So I see Dubois winning, maybe the mid to late rounds knockout. Maybe getting a bit tired at times, but keeping it together enough that he manages to pierce the guard and get Joyce out of there. How do you see it going?